Hotepu, my gay gatekeepers. Welcome to our next installment of the Papyrus of Ani, Decoded. And we're going to continue now with line 4, which starts here at my cursor, from here, and we'll go to this glyph with the two suns, from the number 4 to these two suns, which is shown here as number 4 to the word Eve. So, it is pronounced Shezep tu Manu. Hatep Hapet tu Ma'at Re Terra. And that means, according to Budge, the domain of Manu receiveth thee with satisfaction. The goddess Ma'at embraceth thee at the two seasons of the day, i.e. at morn and at eve. Now let's really go into what this means from a gay shaman's initiatic understanding. Let's start here with this word, Shezep tu. Shezep means overall, receiveth thee. Tu means you. Here is tu, tu, and here is Shezep. Now, let's look into this word a little more carefully. Receiveth thee. Shezep has the meaning of light. Shezep can mean light. Shezep or Shep can mean ancestors. So this is really saying that the light, your light of your ancestors will receive you. Recall in the earlier lines in the previous YouTubes on this particular text of Ani, we had seen how the god Osar was your DNA. And DNA links you immediately to your ancestral lineage. So you would expect to see soon thereafter more sentences talking about ancestors. And here we have it. So the light of your ancestors will receive you when and where? Here at Manu. It says, receiveth thee Manu. The domain of Manu receiveth thee. Shezep tu Manu. So Manu is ostensibly the place where the sun sets, where Ra's boat sets to go into the underworld at nighttime. That area of the sky is known as Manu. Now Manu, shown here by this sickle and these 3 water jars, Manu does mean the place of the setting sun. That's a code, as you recall from the very first video on Ani, that the West is code for sleep, trance, or death. They're all self-similar. Sleep looks a lot like a trance state, and they both have an effect that looks like death. So they were fractal to the Kamau. So Manu means trance, or sleep, or the entry into the dream time. So it's saying that your ancestral light will greet you when you go into trance. Manu is a word for meditation. Manu. Your ancestors will receive you with their light when you go into meditation state. You will greet them when you go into sleep each night. They're there. And you will see their light when you translate or die. This light of Shezep is the light you've heard many mystics and people that had near-death experiences discuss. This light they see when they quote-unquote die. And then in that light they see their ancestors, their grandparents, their children, those who have passed. This is all in the word Shezep. The light of my ancestors that I see when I go into altered states of consciousness. Manu, meditation, trance, or the death stage. Now the word ma and nu, manu, ma has several meanings. The sickle. Number one, it's a sickle. What's a sickle for? A sickle is for cutting down wheat. So it's a kind of death for the wheat. It's the beginning of a transformation to a higher state, meaning into bread, to become food, to help people. So it's talking about something being cut down in you, something being transformed, that when you fall asleep or you go into trance or hypnosis or you go into the death state, your waking consciousness is cut down like wheat, and you're going through a transformation. Now, the wheat are seeds, and the word ma does mean seed. It means both the seed of a plant, and the word ma or mai means sperm. So again, we have here DNA reference that you will see in trance, the afterlife, or death, the light of your ancestral genetic patterns. Ma also means a temple or an island or a body of water, a lake. So we're talking about an island of light. We're talking about the sea of chi, as it's called in Taoism, that when you fall asleep, you enter this realm of the astral plane, which is called the sea of chi. And in this level of consciousness, the seeds of your day, the seeds, the word ma means seeds, are going to be extracted and processed. That's why if you have a hard day or you have a hard time trying to figure something out in your day, you fall asleep, you wake up with an answer, or you're clearer, or you feel better. Because the seeds of those thoughts that were haunting you are processed on the island Manu. They're cut down and processed and reworked and then outputted the next morning as something edible, something digestible, something usable like bread. And the nu, these jars are the letters NU, nu, but there are three of them. Again, you're seeing this theme of threes. This jar refers to water, which is the trance state. That's why in most spiritual systems, when you are converted or you're going into an initiation, they baptize you or they douse you in water or you get holy water or you're dipped into a river. That's all symbolic of entering the underworld state, the trance state. But here we're referring to three different planes or three different experiences of the trance, sleep, death state. And these three bowls contain the essence of the three planes of your chart, the gods of the three great circles: the ecliptical circle of the sun and the sun signs, the equatorial, the horizon circle, I should say, of your houses, and the latitude-longitude circle of your location, which deals a lot with your rising sign and your fixed stars. Your what's called your heliacal rising and setting stars are very latitude sensitive. So those three lines of gods are absorbed into the subconscious waters, and the lessons you learned from your daily sun sign transits, your horizon movements of the planets and signs, and those of the stars of your latitude and longitude, how you dealt with those karmas are absorbed into Nu. Nu is the vacuum. Nu is space itself. And space is what we call the great background that allows everything else to exist. So what I'm saying here is that the word ma means fire. The word ma means law. The law, ma'a, means the law. It means light or something new. The word ma means to give light. Ma means to give light. And so what we're saying here is that your conscious choices, ma, the light of your mind, will dissolve into the nothingness of the vacuum of space itself. And this extraordinary word is telling us that space is conscious. It has the word ma on it, which means light or to give light, meaning awareness. And the word nu in Egyptian means to think, to cogitate, to have ideas. The word nu, the word for space, is the same word for to think or to imagine. So we are nothing but the imaginings of space morphing itself into different shapes. We are space that has been shaped and molded like clay. Imagine nu or space as just a blob of clay, no shape. It has the potential to take any shape at all. So we call nu possibility land. Manu, the land of the waters of infinite possibility. And through our ma'a, our minds, our thinking, our light of our consciousness, we shape our reality. That mind shapes matter, mind over matter, called karma or synchronicity. And that each night, when we go into the land of Manu, the dream time, the meditation state or the death state, all of our conscious thoughts are absorbed into the great universal collective unconscious and are processed and are then fed back to us, because Manu means seeds, are fed back to us the next day as new karmic fruits. The universe hears you and feeds back to you what you're playing to it. I could spend a whole hour on this one word, Manu. It is an extraordinarily profound word. Okay? And then Manu, this is part of Manu, the three mountains of the horizon. Again, the three great regions that connect with the earth, the ecliptic, equator, the ecliptic, the horizon, and the latitude, longitude. Hatep, meaning in peace, which you see here, with satisfaction, but it's really more with in peace or with peacefulness. Hatep links a lot to the word Manu, because Manu corresponds to the neutral, homogeneous, quiescent, totally still, deepest level of consciousness that you descend into as you sleep past non-REM sleep. Yes? And Hatep is the experience of the non-REM place. The deepest level of the universe, the deepest level of space, inner space, as well as material space, is peacefulness. Meaning, because at this level of space, this deep substratum, primary level of space, there is no motion. It is totally still. There's nothing there. It's empty. It's a zero net effect. All the equations balance out to zero. That's what Hatep means and Nu means. The equation is perfectly balanced. And creation is when the Supreme Being tries to, not tries, but actually imbalances the equation. He puts one more on the left than the right side of the equation. And all of a sudden we have this teetering of the scales, the equation, like a seesaw, and that creates tension, which makes duality and opposites, up and down, on, off, hot, cold, left, right, yin, yang, and they keep teetering, which is what you know as tension, action, and kinetic reality. But Hatep is the place of the clay that has no shape. So it is peaceful. There is no tension there. So when you fall asleep, you fall into this place within Manu called Hatep. This place of deep relaxation, deep stillness, deep peace, which is your true nature. Your original nature is peace. And when you go into that Hatep stage through meditation, trance hypnosis, or death. You are renewed, because the word ma here, ma, means new, to make new, to be youthful or fresh. You return to your true nature. Sleep gives you the return to stillness, what we call hatep. And you'll hear many Kamau people, those who follow the Kemetic religion, say hatep to you, which means hello or goodbye, ostensibly. Really what you're saying is that may you respond to every challenge in life with peace and grace. That's what hatep really means. May you not forget, this too shall pass. So may you respond to the challenge of life calmly. You see? This is saying, may you shezeptu manu umhatep. May you fall asleep or die or enter meditation peacefully, meaning without guilt, with a clean heart. May you sleep with a clean conscience. The word ma'a means to measure or to judge. That the light, ma means light, to measure, to judge. The light that judges you, may it be received well with you and your ancestors, so as you fall asleep, you are free of guilt. You have a light heart. Now recall, this sentence had followed the earlier video describing the science of synchronicity, the two hands of the sky heavenly forces. The next line says, okay, now that you understand synchronicity, you need to understand that what you do every day is seen by your ancestor Shezep, is absorbed into the vacuum of the universe, Manu, is sought to be balanced out, Hatep, meaning whatever you did wrong that day, being too mean or too soft or giving in to temptation or lying, whatever you did that was imbalanced will seek to balance its equation out. So what? So that you may have better synchronicities, that tomorrow's events are what you deserve by the equation trying to balance out from your bad behaviors the day before. If you lie to people, you shall be lied to. If you steal from people, you shall be robbed. Until you learn, you can't do that. You can't be lying to people. You can't be stealing from people. That is unethical. That creates bad seeds. Ma'a means seed in the universe, nu, as witnessed by your gods of your chart, your ecliptic, horizon, and latitudinal gods. The next phrase here is hapet tu ma'at. Retra. Okay, hapet means to embrace. Here you have those two arms again, and here we had two arms here, again with a single dash between them. We have a similar idea here, two arms with a single dash between them as well, telling you this section of the text of these two arms and its brother here are similar. You want to connect these two messages. So here we have arms embracing a singularity, oneness. This is saying that your karmas, your inner states that you have embraced, will force external states that are similar to embrace you back. If you embrace being a liar internally, then you shall be embraced by liars. If you embrace being a thief, that thieving is okay mentally, you think that, then you shall be robbed. So these two arms here are, one arm is the mind, one arm is the events of your life, mind and matter. Because your karmic seeds will be absorbed by the universe and your ancestors, and because your imbalances of behavior will try to be balanced out with peace, you shall be embraced externally tomorrow, next week, next month, next year, next life, eventually, by your psychological states. Now, the word hepet is a wonderful word, much like Manu. Hepet means several things. If you take the root, hep, this twisted flax here in this little square, hep, the word hep means law. Law. Hep also means solstices, because the word hep means to turn. And the solstices are the turnings of the sun, when it turns from going northward back to southward, back to northward throughout the year. So hep means the law, that there are laws to behavior, there are laws to consciousness and to karma. And that those laws, that what you do to others shall be done to you either tomorrow, next week, next month, next year, or next life. Eventually, the long arm of hep, the law. These are the long arms of the law. The long arms, hep, these arms here, of hep, the law, will embrace you. You won't get away with anything, because the universe is aware of you. The universe is aware. It knows what you're doing to it, and will seek to balance itself out. Hepet means to balance out, peace, or to balance the equation. The long arm of the law of hep will reach you. And if you take the word pet, which is this letter here, P, and this T, this square and this little semicircle, hep, pet here, pet means sky. So hepet means the law of the sky, the law of your astrology chart. Now that is the heaven that saw you. Your own internal karmas, your own internal three lines of gods in the sky saw you, busted you, cold busted you. You think you were doing dirt and being mean and stealing when no human saw you, but there are more than humans in this universe. So here, the law of heaven, hepet, the law of your chart, the law of ethics, will catch up with you, will corner you. You see, you're kind of cornered here. And the oneness here, this one-line stroke, means when you are faced with your karma, the law of heaven coming back on you by right of consciousness, by what you're projecting out there, that when you are cornered by these two arms, you might want to see the oneness. When you go through something horrible, you want to think, on one level, how did I project this into my life? How did I draw myself? How did I create this? What kinds of thinking did I have to have in my life, in my patterns, to draw myself into this kind of experience? You see? And some people say, well, that's blaming the victim. Well, that's true if you don't follow Egyptian understanding of this. Because the word hep means law, and the word ma'ah means law, and we're going to see the next word here is ma'at, the goddess of law. But we can't look at this law concept from a white people's point of view, from white cultural point of view. We must keep it loyal to the Kemetic point of view, which is the law is you following the high oracle in divine order. That hep, you see this hep law here means you must embrace the oracles that you've received on your heaven, pet, your sky. Hep means law, pet means sky. The oracle the law of heaven that I received on my Benosar Venus, on my 5th house, on my sextiles or squares in my chart. You have to do readings on those, and this is a concept neither the white astrologers use nor the Vedic astrologers use. They don't understand that you have to use the high oracles with astrology charts in order to understand that person's chart for true. Because let's say a person has Harukapet, which is Pluto, Harukapet, which is Saturn, square Bennu, Osar, Venus. That could mean a lot of things. Harukapet, Saturn, Bennu, Osar, Venus could be a lot of divorces in your life. That could be frigidity in sexuality. You're frigid. That could be that you work very, very hard constantly at perfecting your artistic craft. That could mean that you find happy people depressing. It can mean a lot of things. Which one is for you? The only thing that can answer that is the high oracle. We have the oracle of Ra in the Golden Beetle. It is a high oracle from Africa. And it will read you exactly. It will tell you exactly what side of that combination in your chart applies to you. What part of that law, how should you apply the law of those planets in your case at this point in time and space? So this little phrase is so profound, and again, I could spend a whole hour on just this one word. Hapetu Ma'at, the divine law. Ma'at means complexity science. It means the equational nature of the universe. People say Ma'at or Ma'a means divine law, means truth, and those words are platitudes. They're hard to really get a grip on because that could be misused in many ways. Truth, well, your truth may be someone else's truth. Some say the truth is how a system functions, which is more accurate, how the parts are supposed to work with each other. That's more accurate. That's a better definition. But I find the best way to explain truth is, or Ma'a, or Ma'at, is that the universe is a series of equations constantly balancing each other out. So let's say population control. Every species, nature, somehow has a target number, kind of a ring past not number, that certain species must not cross. If they do, nature will invoke forces to wipe out those numbers. Disease, plague, greater predators, something. That's an equation. You see? And so nature is nothing but science. How do you know what science is? Because scientists are studying the equations that run nature. Scientists don't invent the formulas. They didn't invent gravity's formula or density's formula or thermodynamic formula. They did not invent it. They simply saw it as it was already pre-existent in nature. So clearly, nature is scientific. Your body is scientific. There's the science of genes, the science of growth, the science of cell reproduction, cell repair. It's all science. That's why doctors can heal you, because they know the science of the body. So Ma'a or Ma'at is the equations that run all of the universe, all of nature. This is saying that you are an equation. You are a variable in the cosmic equation, and you have to balance out your equation so that your net effect is Hetep, zero in the end, peace, balance, and order. And the last word we have here is retra, which means here with satisfaction. Here at the 2 seasons of the day. Retra means at the 2 seasons of morn and eve. These 2 seasons here we have the word for season, ater, with two suns. The seasons here refer to seasons, meaning phases of energy. One season is the season of conscious thinking, when the sun is above the horizon, meaning your external actions during the day, your outer sun, your outer actions. The inner sun is the sun within the karmic sun, your energy psychologically. This outer sun here, the two seasons, the morning and eve. The morning is your conscious actions, your conscious awareness, and beneath that is another sun, your subconscious nature. These form the two seasons that what you plant in your lower sun or your subconscious sun, your subconscious inner light, your subconscious energy will come up and greet you as an external event. And the external events of your outer season will influence how you process that event subconsciously. So we have this feedback looping here between the two suns, the suns of my outer behavior and the sun of my inner psychological motivation behind the behavior. This sun is what I do, what I did. This sun is why I did it. This sun is my actions. This is my psychological behavioral motivations behind that action. So when you fall asleep, you will see the light of your ancestors on the island of judgment, of conscience, in meditation. And these ancestors and your conscience will try to bring peace and balance to your life's equations. If you're too smothering with your boyfriend, if you are a gay couple and one of you is too smothering or too attaching, that's imbalanced. Or one of you is too dry and too aloof, that's imbalanced. And that you will be embraced by your karmic synchronicities by right of consciousness in order to balance yourself out through seeing the light of your outer behavior and its subconscious motivation. So here we have an expose in one sentence of the most profound experience of meditating, dying, seeing the light of the ancestors, light at the end of the tunnel, and seeing the dead, and seeing how, again, synchronicity works out, and that we have in life what we deserve by right of consciousness. You are where you are by right of consciousness. And my last point is, again, people may say, well, that's blaming the victim, but in Egypt, there are islands within islands like concentric circles. So there's your little subconscious mind, but that is embedded within a larger ocean of your ancestors' consciousness, the island of your ancestors. And that's embedded in a larger circle in terms of your entire race's consciousness. Then the human collective unconscious is a larger circle. So all of those circles are like cell walls that take osmosis. They're bound conditions, but they do allow flux of information and energy through their cell walls. So your ancestral patterns can spill and bleed into your personal consciousness, and vice versa. And the human collective bleeds into all of our ancestral individual consciousness as well, and so on and so forth. So you want to look at, that's the equation, Ma'at, the holistic equation of the universe. So not only are you creating your universe, creating your reality, but so are your ancestors creating you. You see? And the land you're born on has a certain power to it. That's also creating you. And your race is creating you. Then the human race is creating you. And you are creating it. You're creating your genetic race. There's only one race, by the way, only black. Only one race. and you have blue, black, beautiful, beautiful blue, black, down to the least melanin, which are the pale white people. They are the other spectrum of the one race of humans. You can't have more than one race of humans. This is called the human race. There's only one. And we've divided this up into categories of white people, red people, yellow people, black people. But that's a farce. It's only black people with more or less melanization in their cells. But each of these bigger circles have osmosis between them. So when you think something in your small, inner, tiny, personal unconscious, it spills out into your ancestral larger circle, and it spills out to the cosmic racial circle, then the humanity circle, and they feed back each other, and they talk to each other, and then it ripples back towards your little circle with some kind of response that has now been informed by all the other circles. So you co-create with these other circles in this concentric manner. It's not just you creating. That idea in the white New Age movement of you create your universe is very white. It's very white. It, in the sense that it heralds and it lauds individuality, which is a very American ethic. I'm an individual. I can make it on my own. No one's an island. We all are part of networks of connection, the web of power, and the circles of life. So no, you don't create your reality. You co-create it with the other concentric circles around you. That's what this pet is about. There is a universal arm or bigger arm than your arm, and then there is your arm. But they are one, yet they are separate. And that is the truth. Hep, the truth. Okay? So I pray you enjoyed this podcast, and may you see the light of your ancestral patterns as you fall asleep, to help those patterns that are not right to become right. And may you understand that by law of consciousness, you have embraced certain karmas to come to you, and it's best you learn to understand your subconscious motivations to those external behaviors, that you may change them. If you're having problems in life, you have to know, why am I doing this? What is my motivation? What is the need I'm trying to express in a very crazy, unhealthy way? If someone is smothering you, they're expressing a need of connection in a very imbalanced way. The equation is crazy. If they can go into their inner sun here and look within in the meditation state of Manu and really see, oh, I'm that way because when I was a child, I felt that the only way to get attention was to always be crawling on mama's skirt. Just be needy. And I got a lot of attention then. When you understand that, then you can release it, because the inner sun will now make a new behavior, and the behavior will reinforce the new inner insight, and there you have it. Enlightenment of behavior and motivation. That's why it's a sun. Light. Enlightenment. Clarity on those two. So, I pray you enjoyed this. Be well. Dwawend Hotepu.